I like you, Ish. That I didn't see coming.
Episodes 4 and 5 came together, and I'm glad we saw them both together instead of separating. I don't mind having episodes every week, but this was a pretty big plot in the storyline. They were sad, these episodes. They were disturbing, very intense. There were some really, really dark moments in here. But these episodes were a huge payoff for those of us who were waiting for a human villain, and his name was Charlie. But before I talk about him, the episode begins soon after last week's cliffhanger. Ish was mauled, and we see Molly saving his life. Afterwards, Molly confesses that she flunked out of medical school and that she had been lying to them. I like this idea. I like this storyline. Unfortunately, the season has been so rushed that I didn't get to know her that well, so the storyline didn't fully resonate with me. Now, eventually, Ish does get well enough to be on his feet, and it's always wonderful to see Ish and Emma together. Their relationship is the heart of the story. We then jump 3 years to year 17, and we quickly see the family dynamics. Ish is walking with his younger son Joey, and Alex, the oldest son, is jealous. He thinks that Joey is his father's favorite. Now, this dynamic does come into play later on. Now, his daughter, on the other hand, she's totally fine where she's at. She's getting so much closer to Rafe. The two of them have a relationship, and they decide to leave the community and see the world. And I can't blame them. There's a lot to see beyond the corner of their little part of the world. And plus, they said they would return before the winter, but they don't. At this point, the area is going through a drought. They drive out to the dam, and that's where they see a group of people. On a side note, up until this point, I have been wondering why we never see Ish or Emma use a ham radio or a walkie-talkie to find anybody. Maybe I missed it. If I did, let me know. But here we see Ish use a walkie-talkie to warn Emma, and it's really nice to finally see that. Ish doesn't want anything to do with these new people, and he quickly leaves. But the strangers track them down to their community. Ish doesn't trust them, but he doesn't trust anyone at first. This has been the staple of the show, but he lets them into the community. I think part of it has to do with him being wrong for 17 years, though I personally don't think he was.
You were impossible.
Just because you don't want me to be right doesn't mean I'm wrong.
You mean wrong again.
I think he has a right to be cautious. The leader of the group, Charlie, is very charming, and he comes bearing gifts by way of the ability to drill for water. He makes a deal. Give me 3 days, he'll drill the water, and Ish will supply them with gasoline so they can be on their way. We see Charlie drilling, and at one point he invites Ish to give it a try, probably assessing Ish's strengths.
Whoa.
You made that look easy.
Oh, yeah, it's heavier than it looks.
Yeah, my arm's still damaged from the cougar attack.
Sorry.
When watching at this point, I was wondering if Charlie is a threat to the group, or is Charlie only a threat to Ish's leadership in the community? Ish is the alpha male of the group, and then Charlie comes in, and he seems to get a lot of attention from everyone. And then he's drilling and he's strong. And it makes me wonder if this was one of those internal things, like it wasn't going to be a human villain, more like what Ish is feeling and his insecurities and things of that nature. And that's because we've never had any human threats. So at this time, I wasn't sure what to make of Charlie. And then came the hunting scene. It was very intense because I didn't know what Charlie was going to do. He's walking behind him the whole time. They both have rifles. And then he shoots the deer, but he does it while he's behind Ish. So it startles and upsets Ish. And it's all part of the game that Charlie plays. He's really assessing Ish. He's assessing how he handles things. And maybe Emma is rubbing off on her husband. She trusts everyone. And you can't do that. You can't let a stranger walk behind you with a rifle. At one point, when they're all sitting around talking and eating and having a good time, Charlie looked at Evie a little too long. But Emma said that it's not the first time a man got caught looking at an attractive woman, but it is something to keep an eye on, and Ish is not comfortable with Charlie at all. And then the water came, and everyone is celebrating. Charlie seems like a really good guy. He's here to help you find water. But Ish, he's had enough, and it's time for Charlie to go. But not so fast, because Charlie likes it here, and he plans on staying. And I don't think too many of Ish's people are anxious to see Charlie leave anyhow.
This is your day, San Lupo. It belongs to you.
You gave it to us, Charlie.
To San Lupo.
And to Charlie! Charlie, 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 Charlie.
Charlie is a master manipulator. It didn't take long for him to spot the weakness of Ish's relationship with Alex. He took Alex under his wing, showing him how to drill and introducing him to the young girl from his group. Charlie is becoming a father figure to Alex. And at this point, I really wish that Ish would work things out with his son. But then the moment comes when we know he's evil. I don't want to use trigger words, so I'll say he assaulted Evie. And Silas was the lookout guy. I did not see that coming. It was shocking. And now what do you do about it? There is no law. The law is what you make it. And now the story is going in a totally different direction.
Charlie is a predator. He travels from place to place searching for new prey.
The water is a good way to infiltrate a community. He's the Trojan horse bearing the gift of water. When I look at Charlie, he comes across as some kind of cult leader, where they all worship him, like when they were clapping and chanting his name because he drilled the water. And these cult leaders, they all have these harem of women. I think Charlie likes that kind of thing. The group, however, couldn't see Charlie as a threat, but Ish did.
I should have made a sound.
Yeah, but who could have known?
Ish knew.
I guessed.
You guessed right. Sorry.
It was nice to finally see Ish's concern be validated, or at least not hearing how he's always wrong, though I wish it didn't come after such suffering. The group has to decide what to do next, but it becomes obvious. If you send him away, he will come back. You can't imprison him because then you're stuck taking care of him, and Emma lays it out. He's got to die. And they vote on it, but it has to be unanimous, and Jorge is the holdout, but eventually he caves. And then it gets really brutal. The group is there to support Ish, and he uses that hammer. The one I thought he was going to use on the mountain lion, he used it on a different kind of animal. Silas is also told to leave because he was the lookout man, and quite frankly, he should go. He doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to be alone, no place to go, but he can't stay. The others, on the other hand, they do stay. They were all victims themselves, and they were manipulated by Charlie. He did this everywhere he went. But Charlie underestimated Ish. It may have been 17 years, but Ish still had his guard up. But killing a man isn't easy, and Ish is haunted by it. There are moments in the episode where you see him seeing Charlie there, like the ghost of Charlie. We have a 3-year jump, and we're going into year 20. And it looks like the virus has returned. Now, Joey and others are sick. And this is looking bad. Molly said it's like before. But now Heather has returned, and she's without Rafe. She said he was gone. What does that mean? Is he dead, or did he just leave her? We need to know the answer to that. Now, Ish gets supplies from the hospital, and he sees the chapel, and he prays there. And I think that the snake venom is going to be the thing that's going to cure these people.
Snakebite saved me.
These 2 episodes are very, very intense. And I think a lot of that is because the other episodes set it up. Because we spent a lot of time watching Ish build a life. Our heroes didn't have to deal with bad guys, as it was mainly about building their community. And then suddenly they were face to face with a person who wanted to tear it all down. And they had to make a very difficult choice. There wasn't any time in the series where they had to make this kind of choice, so it had a lot more impact. It took 17 years for Ish to come face to face with this kind of situation. It was a good build-up. I do believe in some ways that it was a little slow, but I get it now because it really showed that everything was fine. It was fine for 17 years, and then one day it wasn't, and it makes the build-up even bigger. We have one more episode, and I look forward to the finale. Plus, they need to tell us what happened to Rafe. His parents need to know. Him not being there is a big deal. He can't just go missing and we pretend like it doesn't mean anything. So it needs to be brought up. So how did you like these 2 episodes? Were you shocked too? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.